So we're moving into part 29 of our hydrotherapy theory and practice series. Just as an important note, as you navigate any health challenge, you want to make sure it's always that you partner with someone who has a similar philosophy of care of the human body that you do, both in disease and health. The things that we talk about here are just tools in your toolbox that you can use for keeping well or getting well. It's not medical advice. It's just been used by other people in similar situations that has been beneficial. And that anything that comes up, you need to make sure you investigate it thoroughly for yourself and not just blindly accept anything that comes along anywhere. And Thomas Edison said in January of 1903 that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and the cause and prevention of disease. Very forward-thinking quote that has yet to see complete fruition. There are pockets of society and various doctors that are using this philosophy, but it's not as widespread as one would have hoped, having been over 120 years ago. And we would expect to see that more in our own community than we do, but much of the medical training has moved into the paradigm of using pharmaceutical approaches rather than the God-given approaches from nature. In 1885, it was stated that there are many ways of practicing the healing art, but there's only one way that heaven approves, and that's using the simple agencies of nature that God made, the remedies that he made, that don't tax our bodies and don't hurt them in any way. Pure air and water, cleanliness, a proper diet, purity of life, and a firm trust in God. And we are focusing on the water end in this particular series that we've been working on here. And it's important that we have the skills and develop those skills because they are losing their presence in our society. And if we maintain those skills, we'll have tools that we can reach for when other skills and tools are not available. So drugs are typically much more expensive and taxing on the body than just the pure 8 laws of health that God has designed for us. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers. So there's that mind, body, and spirit connection, which is very vital. Keeping a trust in God, a firm trust in God, is important in doing any kind of modality, but particularly the ones that heaven approves. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, that by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. So he's not asking us anything unreasonable. He's only asking us to do things that are reasonable. Not that they aren't hard, especially if we have taken our liberties and our habits have been created in a vein that is not what heaven approves. It can take some divine intervention and hard work to transform those habits. And it goes on to say, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. More and more often than not, a ingrained habit or addiction that needs to be broken can only be broken by the power of God. And to truly stay away from them, it's only through God's grace that can happen. The Ministry of Healing states that it's important, because our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit, that we need to develop our bodies to its maximum, and that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and that we need to study and know its needs, just like one would study and know the needs of a high-performance piece of equipment. You want to take care of it and maintain it and build it up and not degrade it or cause anything to cause corrosion or oxidation of your body, as well as any equipment that you might have. So we need to take care of ourselves and learn. It behooves us to learn how to do that. Otherwise, we end up in repair facilities, essentially, that may not be of God's design for us to be there. It never was God's design for us to be there. So we're going to be looking at shower baths today. Basically, a common way of looking at that is, they have technical devices that are made to provide a shower bath, but the same results can be achieved in a home shower situation. So the sanitarium approach, where they were using water jets and showers of specific types, can be done at home. So there's different types of those hot showers or shower baths. There's the hot shower, continuous hot shower, cold or cool shower, a neutral shower, a graduated shower, revulsive shower, and a hot and cold contrast shower. So the hot shower, the primary use of the hot shower is just getting one ready for a cold shower. It could also get one ready for other hydrotherapy treatments too. We talk about the hot foot bath as being a way of warming the entire body just by warming the feet. But you can also prepare a person for other types of hydrotherapy by a full body treatment. But typically it's used primarily getting one ready for one of the other types of showers. So begin with very warm water, 100 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to want to have some way to measure that. So there might need to have an inline thermometer, or a thermometer that you can put into a cask of water, a cup of water that you can measure, and then slowly raise that temperature to 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. You may have a set point on the hot water heater if you have a domestic hot water heater that has a maximum, and you would know what that set temperature was, and you could extrapolate in between there. Some can get very, very hot. So the duration of this hot shower is going to be from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on what you're doing with it. If you're just doing a quick warm or a thorough body warm, you may need to use a cold compress to the head, depending on the situation. If someone has a fever, you don't want to raise their central nervous system temperature too high, so you may need to do a cold compress to the head. So if you're using just the hot shower by itself, whenever you're finishing a treatment, with very few exceptions, you're going to drop the temperature quickly and quench. So drop it to 85 or 90 degrees. So that's going to feel cold. It's not going to actually be cold as in ice water, because 85 to 90 degrees is still very warm. It's just below body temperature, so it's going to feel cold. It's going to also be below the temperature of the water you were using. So that's the finishing for a hot shower. Dry quickly with a towel or a sheet, and you may need to fan the person off to accelerate the cooling, evaporative cooling that would take place. You don't want them to chill. So you do want to be careful of chilling a person, but they may need to cool down after that hot shower. So the continuous hot shower. So the continuous hot shower is a fine water stream of hot water that's used for several hours on a specific location. So some different places that can be helpful is in sciatica. So that's the sciatic nerve. It's the longest nerve. It runs from the lower back down to your toe, and that can be very inflamed in some people. Brachial neuritis. So that's inflammation of the nerves in the arms, brachial. And the refractory lumbago essentially is lower back pain. So there's an x-ray here of a person with some back issues, and it can be helpful to have like just the continuous kind of misting stream of water onto that body part. And can also be helpful for limbs that have painful edema. So they can see the person here has quite swollen leg on the left leg there. It can even be done on legs with edema that have open wounds or ulcerated areas present. So that's also a benefit to that, because many times someone who has had prolonged edema, it can be due to venous valves that are not competent and not allowing the blood to flow back up towards, actually it doesn't flow, it gets squeezed. The muscles of the legs are what drive the fluid from the venous system back to the heart. That's one of the mechanisms of edema. So edema can also be helpful if it is causing pain. So to apply that continuous hot shower, the individual should sit in a comfortable chair or other sitting arrangement and use a fine stream shower. So here's a bathtub, organized chair, and it can be a protracted period of time. If you don't have that kind of a chair, you could even use like a camping chair, canvas camping chair. to sit in. The one thing about that is the prepared chair there does have drainage holes at the back, which is nice. Depending on the camping chair, you may or may not have that ability to drain the water off. And then use a fine stream shower. You want to make sure that the temperature is not going to be affected in its constancy. You want to be very sure. So you're not going to be having someone flush the toilet in one part of the house and demand cold water and then cause scalding to occur, because you don't want to have that up and down possibility fluctuation of water temperature. Just keep it nice and constant. It should be as warm as it can be tolerated, 110, 115 degrees. And this will be applied for up to 24 hours, up to a whole day. So there's quite a protracted period of time of potential use for that, depending on the situation. So when you're finishing, you can splash them with cold water to quench it, to quench the treatment. And it can be, localized and focal point on the leg. It doesn't have to be totally showering the entire person. It's kind of a unique situation having these longer term hydrotherapy treatments, because the person would need to have just some attention and probably something to do and something to listen to, maybe a good sermon or some music, someone to read to them, just some gentle interaction, because it's 24 hours is a fairly long period of time to be in one place. But someone who's in some fairly excruciating pain, it could be very relieving. Then make sure that you dry them completely so that they don't have evaporative cooling happening excessively to the point of chilling. And remember, after every one of these hydrotherapy treatments, there's a rest period that follows, or you can actually negate the treatment that you've just done. So at least a 30-minute rest period, a nap is always recommended. So a cold or a cold shower. So there are a lot of tonic effects associated with a cold shower. It's a health enhancing exercise. So just going and taking a cold shower. And you can prepare for that cold shower with a warm shower. That's one of the things of a hot shower. But you can also just go straight into a cold shower too. So one of the things it does is demonstratively raising the white blood cell count, so increasing the immune system activity. That's one way to just help keep yourself healthy year-round, is by doing a cold shower. So there's a number of different benefits of cold showers in this infographic here. You burn fat, because essentially you got to create heat through the use of the fuel that your body has. You recover faster from activity and exercise, helps you to maintain energy, helps to fight viruses or other exosomal diseases where you need to throw off various toxins, and then prevents skin breakouts like acne. So once warmed with a hot shower, drop the temperature rapidly to as cold as bearable. Now, there are going to be some limits to that, because you're not going to be able to draw ice water out of your tap. But if you had the opportunity to have ice water, you could do that too. So 70 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit is considered cool, and 55 to 70 is considered cold, but not necessarily using ice water in this case. So it's often given in series, so a series of temperature changes. So first cool, and then successively colder. So you're kind of building up, and you can do that in one shower setting with successive temperatures, or you can also do that in separated showers at different times, just building your body's tolerances up for that. But it makes it easier and a greater change for the body to work with. The reaction is greater with a initial warming effect for the cool or cold shower. So the neutral shower, you're going to be using lukewarm water, and that's going to be based on your body temperature. We know the body temperature is around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's around neutral. It's very calming and relaxing, and can aid someone who has insomnia. So we talked about immersion baths a couple times ago, and the neutral shower can achieve similar results. So start with water that's above body temperature, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and gradually lower it to between 94 and 97. So if you take someone's body temperature, oftentimes it's not right at 98.6. It can be just a touch lower, and that's fine. Then you would do that treatment for between 3 and 5 minutes of duration. Once that's completed, quickly dry them with no excessive percussion or excessive friction. Kind of makes things colder when that's applied. And then go to bed and rest, again, following up with a treatment with a rest period. So there's different types of thermometers you can use. You can use the digital thermometer that uses a beam of light, or you can use like just a regular pool thermometer too. So the graduated shower. So there are showers that are using various temperatures throughout the procedure of the shower. Now notice that this shower head actually has two different shower stream options. There are many heads available today that have multiple shower opportunities that even have percussive effects and mist effects, and those can be nice for directing specific types of shower strength and water qualities to the areas of concern. This one here also has a wand application, so it could be done to an arm or a leg without doing the entire body, unlike one that was fixed to the wall. So that'd be something else to consider. So the goal is to slowly lower the body temperature with as little shock and effect as possible. Unlike the cold shower where you just all of a sudden quickly get the cold shock. This is just the reverse boiling pot effect, where you're gradually cooling as opposed to gradually warming. So to begin with a prolonged or intense sweat bath. So you're starting hot, and that can be done in a sauna or other type of situation, using a cold head compress to make sure that the neurological centers of the central nervous system and the head don't overheat. And then start the shower with very warm water, up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then quickly increase that to 118 degrees. So it's going to go even intense, more intense. And then continue the temperature until warm, and the person is actually wanting it to be cold. So they're heating up, and say, well, I'm just ready to get it cold. Then that's when you slowly drop it down to 80 degrees to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, you need to have some kind of a measuring tool to have an idea. Once you have done this a few times, you probably will get a feel for what those temperature ranges are, but initially a thermometer is going to be a really helpful tool. So 2 to 6 minutes, and then drying them, and then just make sure that they don't get chilled with a draft following, and do at least for an hour afterwards, and have a rest period following their treatment. The revulsive shower is similar to the graduated shower, but cold is rapidly and intensely applied, as opposed to slowly cooling it down. You're going to have rapid changes. It's a stimulant, and it cools the body. It acts as a mild tonic, and it can help train the body for what are called contrast or alternate showers. So the revulsive shower can help prepare someone for the next shower type that we'll talk about. So to apply it, starting with water temperatures around 105 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit, increasing it up to 115 for 2 minutes. So you're going to keep it nice and hot for 2 minutes. And then once they're warm, quickly drop it to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 to 10 seconds, and then we're going to turn to hot for 1 to 2. So you're going to be building that heat reservoir back up, and then drop again to the cold. So you're going to cycle this 3 times. So hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, ending on the cold. So at the end of that revulsive shower, you're going to be drying them rapidly, and you want to use it as a training tool for getting ready for the contrast showers, and then slowly increasing the duration of the cold portion, as well as the lowering of the temperature until it becomes a contrast. So you're kind of gradually working into a contrast shower situation. So the revulsive shower can be used on its own as a stimulant, as a mild tonic, but you get more of the tonic effects when you get into the next one we'll talk about, which is the contrast shower. So the alternate or contrast hot and cold shower is sudden hot and sudden cold temperature changes. So it's nice to have an easily turnable mixer valve rather than like a 2-handle one. If you're handy, you can do a 2-handle one too. Just turn it completely off or completely on. It's a very powerful tonic. So tonic, again, is health promoting. Anything that's health promoting is considered a tonic. It may not have a specific ailment or issue that it will address, but just does an overall health promoting effect. So it's a physical stimulant and it should be trained into via the revulsive method that we just discussed moments ago. So not necessarily having the body just go straight into the hot and cold contrast. So someone with a poor circulation or compromised circulation, that sudden change could be more than they could handle well. So training into it, getting your body used to those temperature changes can help make it more beneficial in the long run. So begin hot, 106 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, then quickly raise to the upper tolerance of their comfort zone. Hold it there for 1 minute and then turn to full cold for 15 to 30 seconds. Back to hot for 1 minute and then cold 15 to 30 seconds. So this is different. It was 5 to 10 seconds with previous revulsive time. This is several times more than that. So you want to have a longer duration of the cold, and you're going to look forward to the hot when it comes. And you'll be just getting warm when it's time to change it again. So 3 cycles of this hot, cold, and finish on the cold cycle. Dry well, and then you can make sure that it's completely dried by doing some fanning if necessary.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.